Trey was a very well-mannered young man, a grandson that really, really loved his grandmother.
He was a good kid, and in a lot of ways I was one of his favorite aunts because he was very intelligent, and he thought I had the answer to everything that he didn't know. It was always Aunt Nisa know.
His life really spoke for him. He was so many things. He was sweet. He could sing. Yeah, he was a lot of things to a lot of people.
He was very likable. He had the biggest smile I ever seen. I just loved to see him smile. He didn't talk much. He was a very quiet person, but he was a good boy.
He was a good child, strong-willed. He was everything. He was love.
May 12, 2019, Greensboro officers responded to near the intersection of South Elm Street, near Whittington Street, to the Mill. And the Mill is a special event center that people can rent out to host private events. I arrived as lead detective there at about 3 a.m. On a triple shooting. I was informed that 1 was critical and 2 were stable at Moses Cone Hospital. Some had been transported by private vehicle, some by EMS. Trevis Hawkins, young African-American male, potentially a student or had just graduated from North Carolina A&T, along with a friend of his, were sustained multiple gunshot wounds, as well as a female victim who also had recently graduated from A&T has sustained multiple gunshot wounds in her lower leg.
I remember the ride. There was the longest ride. Nobody would tell us anything in the hospital. And then to get here and hear that your baby didn't make it. No parent, no mother, no family should ever need to experience that. Never, it should never happen.
When I got there, I learned that this was a private event through an affiliate of North Carolina A&T State University, that a shooting had occurred in the parking lot of the business. This is after some type of verbal dispute with some people in the parking lot. And we have multiple gunshot victims, and we do have a vehicle potentially related that fled the scene at a high rate of speed. Witnesses stated a green Dodge Charger or Challenger had fled the scene at a high rate of speed. And as a detective, you don't know if this is going to be a suspect vehicle or is this someone else just fleeing the scene as a result of multiple gunshots. So we had to take it for what it's worth as an investigative lead only.
The thing about his death, it was totally shocking. Anytime, death is nothing that God designed for us to have to go through. But because of what man done, we now live in that we have to all experience death, but for a life to be taken. I can only imagine what my brother and Angie must be continually going through.
Unbelievable what it could do for you if you let it. Speaking in a negative sense, but we're trying to hold our heads up.
To have to experience that and to not have justice. We're living in a generation where people can't talk out their problems. The gun is the answer to their solutions, and I don't know what can be done. As a people, we have to learn to communicate. If you don't like me, that don't mean you go to your vehicle and you're gonna shoot me. But that's what this time and age is. So we just know that Trey, he went a way that he didn't have to go.
It affected so many other people's lives, not just mine and Keith's, but his sister, his brothers, nephews, cousins, aunts, uncles, our whole family too, families on both sides have been affected.
It's gotta be someone or someones that know and have information. And they may be fearing for their life, but as she said, you all have an anonymous line. we just encourage anyone that has any information to please come forward and let justice be served for Trey.
Reliving that night, you never forget. You don't forget the emotions. I remember what my body was doing that night, my nerves, the feeling in my stomach, and just all the way here, trying to just block out those things, but it's there. That's what happened.
What I would say, they saying somebody knows something, and they do, and I know you do, and they're not saying anything. And some of these somebodies, it's not just who was at the function.
Instrumental in obtaining a governor's award for the case. That's a special circumstance that certain homicide cases are able to receive the governor's award. And it's also another way to entice people who have knowledge of the crime to please call Crime Stoppers to provide that information. Always think that if you do know information, please think of it from the perspective of Trey's parents and how that would help them, not necessarily thinking about it from the police perspective.
You know something, just say something. I know you have anonymous lines that people can call and just leave tips or whatever. No tip is too small, anything. Just please say something and put the guns down.